What's up, guys? My name is Cliff with the Creator's Cup, and today we are reviewing the Inkee Benbox. This is a $109 transmitter that you can put on your camera, and it seems to work really great. It also just transmits to mobile devices, so you don't need a monitor as well. I actually have a live feed with it going right now, so it's not actually in the box. Why don't we show you what we got set up here a little closer. So one of the great features about this little transmitter, besides the fact that it's really affordable, is the fact that you can put it onto your computer monitor just using a Wi-Fi connection. And right now this camera is outside above our studio because, well, there's the drone. And if you wonder how we got it like this, Cajun has been learning how to run a lift here lately. Now, even though this isn't very practical, this just gives you an idea of the type of range you can get. So this is going through our garage and out to a camera that's about 50 feet in the air. This setup lets me see clear enough that I can also adjust the focus from here. So as a way to pull focus, this is a great option so that you can get those perfect shots and so that you can focus on the composition while someone else worries about keeping your subject in focus. Sorry, but this is just too much fun. So that was a lot of fun, but let's get back to some more practical applications for the Inkee Benbox. This little guy at $109 seems to work pretty well for us. And again, this video is not sponsored. This is just something they sent to us to try out. And so far, we have nothing but good things to say. I mean, look, it's not a high-end transmitter that's going to give you HDMI out and the ability to use for live streaming, but it can give you a client monitor and it can give you the ability to focus pull so long as your people aren't moving too fast, your subjects aren't moving too fast, because there is probably about up to 1/3 of a second delay as this does transmit over Wi-Fi. As far as range is concerned, they claim 100 meters or a little over 300 feet. And from our tests, it seems to get pretty close to that. It's also able to go through block wall, which is really impressive and could be very practically usable if you have a client that is trying to watch what you're filming in the other room. Or if you want to have somebody pulling focus from the other room, they can do this. As far as the app is concerned, I am really impressed. It's very basic, but it works. It has basically everything you need. If you look on here, there's the ability to apply LUTs if you want to do LUTs. You can set your rule of thirds if you would like. You have the ability to go black and white. You can add zebras, which the zebras, I believe it's the slider right here. There we go. That is so hard to do backwards. And you can also set exposure metering on the side. My favorite part about this app, though, is not necessarily all of those little features, but it's the ability to plug in a USB cable, at least as far as our Sony's concerned, and hit the record button, and it starts recording all just by hitting this little button on the app. It's pretty amazing, and it's really useful, especially if you get your camera 45 to 50 feet in the air and you can't climb up there and get to it, and you forget to hit record, because definitely done that. We all make mistakes. The battery life seems to be pretty solid at a good hour or two, and it has built-in antennas, which to most people would be like, oh, shorter range, but the reality is the small form factor makes up for it. I mean, you could put this thing like on a Y-roll or something, and you don't have to worry about the extra weight, the size. It's a transmitter you can put on top of the camera and on the gimbal, as opposed to having to run a cable from the camera down to the side of a transmitter mounted on the side of the gimbal. It's so lightweight and compact, it's really useful that way. It also seems to be built pretty well too. I expected, honestly, for what this thing is, to get something that was, you know, plastic and kind of junk, but honestly, it's like made out of metal and sounds pretty solid. Lights are still on. That's a good sign. So yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty good buy. I think for $109, it's a great buy, honestly. And if you just need a monitor or the ability to pull focus, this is a great way to get started. If you already have higher end transmitters, you probably don't need this. And you also couldn't use this for live streaming because it doesn't actually provide a receiver with HDMI out. But as a way to get started, or as a backup or a secondary transmitter that will send a signal up to 4 devices, this is a great way to go. You can also, just a little side note, put the Android app on your DJI Crystal Sky monitor and use it that way too. Who knew you could use a Crystal Sky monitor from DJI to monitor camera stuff? As far as quality is concerned, it does transmit at 1080p 60 max, which is plenty for all your purposes. You're not gonna wanna transmit in 4K anyway because you're gonna be watching it on a phone or an iPad or something. So yeah, it's pretty great. Well guys, thank you for sticking out through another video. We really appreciate it. If you guys decide you want to get this thing, we will put links in the description to go buy it. It does help us if you use those links, so we really do appreciate that. We also appreciate if you would subscribe if you're into this kind of stuff, and give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. If you didn't, well, comment down below and tell us what we can do better, because we all make mistakes sometimes. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next video.